Hey, how are you today? Hi, welcome to Photoshop Lightroom TV. I'm your host Marek Mularczyk from sitetraining.co.uk and welcome to episode 30. Yeah, we've been through 29 episodes, now this is episode 30, so we've been running for more than half of the year. And also, so Photoshop Lightroom TV, the weekly video podcast about anything Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop Lightroom and Adobe Bridge as well. And now this week we'll have a variety of tips and tricks. Well, I'll have a tutorial for you in Photoshop, tutorial in Lightroom and tutorial in Bridge. We're also going to have a contest this time. Okay, so let's start with follow-up from what we talked about the last week. Last week we spoke about Spider and we're going to talk about it in just a moment, color calibration. But first let's start with a tutorial in Photoshop. I'm going to show you how to create a really interesting effect of a spilled coffee in Photoshop. So I'm going to take an image of a cup of coffee, and we're going to create spilled coffee that spills over the edges of the cup. Really quickly, really easily inside Adobe Photoshop. So let's see how you can create spilled coffee effect in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so I'm working on this image here. I'm going to start by creating a new layer, just a new empty layer. So create a new layer. I'm going to rename that. I'll call it coffee. Okay, and I'm going to draw an outline for the spilled coffee. I'm going to use the lasso tool for that. Okay, I'm creating a new selection. I'll zoom in a bit. Okay, maybe I'll scroll down a bit. Now start here. I'll just draw an outline for a spilled coffee or milk coming out of the mug, something like that. And I'll include the top of the mug at the same time. Looks good. Now I'm going to fill it with grey. So I'll do Edit, Fill. From Use the menu, I'll use 50% grey. Now just press OK. Looks good. Looks not too bad. Now I'm going to deselect it. Select, deselect. And I'll add some shading here using the dodge tool and pen tool. First I start with the dodge tool to add some highlights. Maybe some here. I'm using a soft edged brush. Okay. Hardness set to 0%. And I'm working on the midtones. And I'm adding some highlights here. Okay, looks good. Now add some shadows using the burn tool as well. Maybe here on the edges. Just a bit here. Now we're going to blur it in just a moment. So I'm going to convert it into a smart object. Okay, I'll right click on the layer and select Convert to Smart Object. Why did I convert it to a smart object? Because when you work with smart object and you apply a filter to your layer, this filter will become a smart filter, and smart filters are fully editable. So I'll go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And I'll blur it just a bit. Not too much. Let's see, we got here. Just want to blur the edges. So about 2 pixels looks good. I'll just press OK. I can always change it later on because I'm using Smart Filter. Let me just zoom out a bit. Now we're going to change the blend mode of this coffee. Okay. Let's have a look. Let's see what filter would be good. I'm thinking about multiply, but we'll give it color burn. Looks really good. This looks really good. I like color burn. Very natural as well. Screen looks not too bad. Okay. Overlay looks really interesting. Yeah. But in this case, I like the color burn. Very nice. Looks like coffee. And we can lower the opacity of the layer just to make it look more natural to about 50% or so. And that's our spilled coffee on a mug. Hey, welcome again. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial in Adobe Photoshop creating spilled coffee effect. Last week we were talking about color calibration. how to calibrate your monitor so you get the consistent color and your images or designs look exactly the way they're supposed to. And I showed you two devices. One is the Pantone Huey and the other is the ColorVision Spider. I'll show you how you can use them, how you can purchase them. Now I'm going to show you, I've got a Spider here. So that's ColorVision Spider, the one I use. And the way it works is you put it hanging on your screen, or the other way around, okay? And the device will calibrate your monitor. It's got a sensor in here. And it runs on a USB port, so you just connect it through the USB port. Pantone Huey works in exactly the same way. It just looks slightly different because Pantone Huey is very tiny, looks like a small pen. Both devices do the same things, and this is a really, really good purchase. This is one of the best purchases I've made. Fantastic, of course, except for Adobe Photoshop and Lightroom. Okay, so that's Spider. Okay, they retail in the UK. The Spider Express for about £70, Pantone Huey standard as well, about £70. The Pro version is about £110. So I guess it will be about $100 in the States. Okay, now let's move on to Adobe Photoshop Lightroom. I'm going to show you a very interesting effect on keyboard shortcuts within the workspace in Photoshop Lightroom. So let's jump into Adobe Photoshop Lightroom and I will see you back in just a moment. Hi, so here I am inside Adobe Photoshop Lightroom and I just want to show you a quick overview of some of the keyboard shortcuts while working within Lightroom. These keyboard shortcuts will apply to any version of Lightroom, so they're not specific to Lightroom 3 on any version. Let's start with keyboard shortcuts that allow you to move between different modules in Lightroom. We've got 5 modules here: Library, Develop, Slideshow, Print and Web. To access the library module, you just use Ctrl-Alt-1, or on a Mac this will be Command-Option-1. So if I want to jump to Develop module, I'll just use Ctrl-Alt-2, and this will move to the Develop module. Slideshow, Ctrl-Alt-3, that's easy to remember. Print, Ctrl-Alt-4, and Web, Ctrl-Alt-5. Okay. Now you can move between different tabs or sections in here. So for example, I'm in web and I've got a couple of sections here by using Ctrl-1 for layout, Ctrl-2 for site info, Ctrl-3 for color palette, Ctrl-4 for appearance, Ctrl-5 image info, Ctrl-6 output settings, and Ctrl-7 upload settings. Okay, so Ctrl-1 back to the top. So I can use Ctrl-Alt-1 to get back to the library module, and I could use the same keyboard shortcuts. So Ctrl-1 for histogram, Ctrl-2 for quick developing, Ctrl-3 for metadata, Ctrl-4 for section, and Ctrl-5 for comments. Okay. Now we got 4 main areas within Lightroom. This top section, which is the module section, and you can collapse that by using F5 on a keyboard. Okay. Now you can collapse the film strip at the bottom using F6. Then you can close the left side tab or using F7, and you guessed it, the right hand side F8. Okay, so once again it's F5, F6, F7 and F8. Now you can also use the tab key to close the sidebars, one on the left, one on the right. Or you can use Shift Tab to close all of the panels at the same time to have a quick view of all the images in a grid view, for example. Shift Tab. Okay. Lightroom, like Photoshop, also uses screen modes. So I can press F once, F on a keyboard, to remove the application window, and then F once again to go to full screen mode. It works exactly the same way in Photoshop. And then I can press F once again to exit full screen mode to get back to the standard view in Lightroom. Okay, just one more set of keyboard, just one more keyboard shortcut for you. Usually, when you're in library, there's a toolbar at the bottom that allows you to move between different views. For example, loop view, grid view, compare view, and survey view. And if you don't see it, you can just press T on a keyboard to open it, and it appears at the bottom of the page. Or you can press T once again to minimize it. Okay. And one more set of keyboard shortcuts for you, just to finish that. Easy way to jump between these modes here. So the grid view is G. Okay, that's what I'm looking at now. The loop view is E. This will open one image in a full screen. Okay, then we got the compare view, this would be C, and finally the serve view is the N, not S, is the N. Okay, so once again, G for grid, E for loop, C for compare, and N for serve view mode. So I'll just press G to get back to the grid view. And this is just a couple of main really important keyboard shortcuts within Adobe Photoshop Lightroom. So let's get back to studio. That's me once again, Marek Mularczyk from scitraining.co.uk, one of the UK's leading specialists in Adobe Certified training. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this Lightroom tutorial, and now we're going to jump into Adobe Bridge. But before that, a few informations for you, a few news. First of all, if you're watching it today, Tuesday, because that's when the Photoshop Lightroom TV airs, I'm running Adobe Photoshop Lightroom Masterclass in Central London. If you want to join me for another masterclass part or another series, go to meetup.com and look for London Photoshop Lightroom group, meetup group. I'll show you the link somewhere on the bottom of the page. Okay, so meetup.com and London Photoshop Lightroom Bridge, Lightroom Photoshop, whatever that. Let's start again. London Photoshop Lightroom group, meetup group. Okay, another information for you. If you've been interested in Adobe Photoshop or Adobe products for quite a while, I'm sure you know the name Terry White. Terry White is one of the fantastic guys from Adobe. He's a worldwide evangelist for design platform at Adobe, and Terry has a fabulous YouTube channel where he posts loads of videos. Now go and check out the Terry White's blog, the part on the YouTube. He's got more than 3 million views so far. Fantastic. Once again, congratulations, Terry. You're amazing. You're a star. So go search for Terry White on YouTube and you'll find his blog. Okie dokie. Now let's jump to our last tutorial. This one will be in Adobe Bridge, and I'm going to show you how to use CS Review mode in Adobe Bridge, and also how to use the full screen feature inside Adobe Bridge CS4 and CS5. I'll be using CS5, and I'll see you in just a moment for a contest. Yes, contest, because this is episode 30. Okie dokie. I'll see you in a bit. Let's jump into Adobe Bridge. Okay, so here I am inside Adobe Bridge, and I'm going to show you the review mode and the full screen 3D carousel in Adobe Bridge CS5. So I'm here in Adobe Bridge CS5. I'm just going to jump into one of the folders with the images. So I'm going to jump into 11 PDF and then PDF 01, and I've got just a couple of images in here. Okay. One of the features on the review mode is that you can preview the images in full screen mode. Well, let's start with the actual full screen mode in Adobe Bridge. I'm going to select the first image here, and I can use the spacebar on a keyboard to jump into full screen mode. Okay, so let's load the images in the full screen mode, and I can use the arrow keys on my keyboard to cycle between images, just using the right arrow key or the left arrow key to move between images. Now, and it doesn't just work. Excuse me. Let's do it again. It just doesn't work with images. It works with any files that are recognized by Adobe Bridge. I'm going to press Escape to exit this full screen mode, and I can jump into anything here. So I'll go to my documents, and then let's say, for example, I've got let's say this one here. Just press the space bar. So this is a PDF. I can jump through different pages inside this PDF, and then I can go to another PDF. It's a map. This is a PDF as well. It's actually the second page of the same map or the same PDF document. Okay, so you can use any sort of images within Adobe Bridge CS5. Now, review mode allows you to preview. Let me just got lost here. Preview loads of images in full screen mode inside Adobe Bridge. So I'm going to jump to the same folder once again. Okay. And I'm going to select all these images, and you can access review mode either by going here and selecting review mode or using the keyboard shortcut Control B. This will open all these images in full screen. Now I can use the arrow key, left and right arrow keys to move between images. If I don't like one of the images and I want to remove it from the review mode, I'll just press down arrow key. Just remove it from the review mode. It doesn't delete it from the hard drive. So I'm going to remove a few images. Okay, this one as well. Now when I exit this mode by clicking on this icon here, the images that are left will be selected, so I could easily export them or add them to a catalog or a collection. Okay, this is a quick overview of Adobe Bridge and using the review mode inside Adobe Bridge. Thank you for watching. Okie dokie, now we're almost done. Welcome back, I'm Marek Mularczyk from sitetraining.co.uk and it's time for our contest. This is the first contest we're on here and I've got some prizes for you. Okay, the first prize is this book here, the Photoshop Word Dream Team book, Volume 1. A fantastic book with loads of interesting articles and techniques. So you're going to get this book here. Okay, Photoshop Word Dream Team book. I'm also going to chip in my DVD the 5 best new features in Adobe Photoshop CS5. This is the video in HD. Now here's what you need to do. This will be pretty difficult. First of all, here's the question you need to answer. The question is, what is the largest size photo that you can import into Lightroom? And I'm looking for 2 informations. The widest image in terms of number of pixels and also the resolution of the image, the maximum megapixel size. Now to answer this question you need to go to Facebook, find me on Facebook, Marek Mularczyk Site Training. Okay, I'll show you the link at the bottom of the page here. Link with me, so become a fan on the page, and then go to Info tab on my page and send me an email with the reply to this question, and you get a chance to win these fabulous prizes. I hope you win. Okay, and next week you'll find out who won. I'm going to select a random person to win. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, I'm Marek Mularczyk from sitetraining.co.uk, one of the leading specialists in Adobe Certified training, and this was Photoshop Lightroom TV, episode 30. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you on the next week on Photoshop Lightroom TV, or I'll see you on PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.